Welcome back to another episode of the Supernaturals. That's Cal.
Beat me to it.
I did. That's Cal, and I'm Jake. We're your hosts today and every day.
Well, every Wednesday. Every Wednesday from like April to Halloween.
Basically.
We're your guys. So, yeah. We hope you guys enjoy. When does this episode come out? Is this after Cult Month? Is this right after? No, we did Headless Men. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jesus, soul.
Damn, Sully.
Lay down.
All right. Anyway, we hope you guys have been enjoying the season. We're kind of winding down here.
Yes. Yeah, we are. We're closing in on the end.
It's kind of sad.
It is.
Also kind of bittersweet though, because it's a bummer. It also is going to allow us to focus on other things, which we haven't really had time to do. So that'll be cool.
Very true.
It's not like the content stopping. It's just the podcast is going on a little season break.
We are still going to be releasing content for you on our YouTube.
Holiday specials as well. Those are still going to be a thing. But
yes, I'm throwing my phone and do not disturb.
Yeah, if you guys want more Jake and Cal, can't get enough of us to strapping young men. Then just hop over to the YouTube and you can check out other things like our short films, our weird vlogs, our, I don't know.
Everything in between.
Pretty much everything that you could ask for. So, yep. But anywho, we appreciate all the love and support so far from everybody that's been listening.
It's been a good season so far. It has.
I like it a lot more than season one. I mean, season one was fun.
We were just dipping our toes in the water.
Yeah, this has been a blast, and today it's going to be more of a blast. And I think because we're exploring, it's not an unsolved mystery. Well, it kind of is. You know what? It kind of is, but it's also not. It's not like people, well, I can't say that either. I was going to say it's not like people die, but no, people die. So let's just say it's a little bit of a mix of an unsolved mystery, also legends, like a myth, like an urban legend, but also a little bit of true crime.
And who doesn't love an urban legend?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I do. I for sure do.
Well, hopefully people don't. Well, if you guys have looked at the, we're talking about the Mothman, if you saw the title, but I'm hoping that depending on what you believe at the end of this episode and what I believe, because I've written this episode, that my mind is not changed. So, I'm just saying, I hope we don't get hate. Well, you know what? Bring it on.
It's not like we haven't before.
No, we got a lot of hate from not believing in Bigfoot from a lot of people.
Yeah.
It was strange because we went through all of the facts and yet we made our own conclusions, but people called us dumb because we haven't seen a Bigfoot. And they're like, we've seen a Bigfoot. And I'm like, well, we haven't. So also haven't seen a Mothman. So it is weird though.
It's crazy. All the hate we've gotten has really just been based off of opinion.
Yeah,
it is. And it's like, okay, that's awesome. You have your opinion.
Yeah. It's also like,
we respect your opinion. Why don't you respect ours?
Well, that's something I was going to say is like, if somebody has an opinion and they spout it, like they're so angry and stuff. Imagine if they shared their opinion and we did that. Like that, it's like, it's an opinion for a reason, right? It's something you believe. Yeah. It's not like a fact. It's just like really an opinion. And I don't know why people get so angry about it. It's just so crazy. But
it's like, hey, I didn't like this movie. And they go, you're dumb for not liking it.
Yeah, what? Are you just an idiot? Sorry, I just really didn't vibe with it. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Or I thought this movie was good. What are you, stupid? Movie was trash.
But I think that's like the beauty of it is there's a lot of content. There's a lot of creation out there that allows you to like certain things and not like certain things.
Exactly. No, I think I love having a different opinion than other people because then we can talk about it. Yeah. I just hate when I have a different opinion than somebody and they like shit on me for it.
Attack you.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I could care less what you think, but whatever. Anyway, yeah, it's a fun little story today. It's going to be, in my head, it's a bit of a shorter episode, but we'll see, who knows? I mean, you guys know because you saw how much time in the episode. I don't know recording this, but we'll see. So What do you say we jump into it, Jake?
Yeah, let's jump in. Let's strap in and get ready for this wild ride.
Hell yeah. All right, guys. So we've talked about quite a few mythical creatures since we started this podcast journey. We've looked at Bigfoot, like we just said, the Yeti, some nautical monsters, skinwalkers, and things like Krampus and Doulahan in our holiday specials.
If you don't remember, go check that out.
Yeah, I loved our St. Patrick's Day. Our holiday specials were all pretty cool.
St. Patty's was really fun. I did love our like true holiday special.
The Christmas one.
Yeah. For us, Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one was fun. I had just a great time in a little Santa hat.
Yeah, it was a fun one. So hey, it's coming up, guys. It's coming up. So each one of those creatures and legends stems from somewhere around the world. Cultures that have been around since the dawn of time have created mythical beings to help explain parts of life we do not understand. Perhaps they're used as a warning, or perhaps they exist strictly just to terrify us. But here in America, we've only been around for, 200 years? So, other than Native American legends and mythical beings, we don't really have any, legends. Maybe Bigfoot. But, if we're being honest, it's kind of just a copy and paste of a Yeti. So, it's really it's do we really have one? So, we do have plenty of ghost sightings, but I'm talking about actual mythical creatures. Those that have a backstory, those that are hard to find, those that have unique abilities and a strange appearance. Well, Jake, I am happy to inform you that we actually do have a few mythical creatures that stem from modern American legend. From Slenderman to the Goat Man. Could do a Goat Man episode. We have a few that we could discuss, but none are as strange and haunting as the one we are going to talk about today. The Mothman. Do you know the Mothman?
I know of it. I don't know any origin or anything of it.
So what do you know about it?
I just know what it looks like because I've seen it's pictured many times around the internet, and that's been basically my knowledge of it. Have I researched it? No.
Yeah.
I just know of the creature.
Did you ever see the Mothman Prophecies, that movie?
Mm-mm.
It's a pretty solid film. So. All right.
Oh, okay.
It is. It's not
nothing more.
No,
it's just solid.
That's not a bad movie. Yeah.
Would you recommend watching it? That's
I think it's worth I haven't seen it in probably 15 years, but it is good. It was one of the ones that I used to watch when doing the AMC horror nights or whatever. They do the countdown to Halloween, so they play just constant Halloween or horror movies from October 1st to October 31st, and I remember watching it on that, and I was like, damn, it's pretty crazy.
Okay.
All right, let's dive into the history here. So it all began in Point Pleasant, West Virginia back in 1966. The day was November 15th, and two couples were driving together down a dark road late at night. Steve and Mary Mallett and Roger and Linda Scarberry. They were about 5 miles north of town and were approaching a field known locally as the TNT area. This area was a large field that, during wartime, was used as an industrial field for things like mine testing, giving the land the local name of TNT area. Anyway, the two couples were nearing the field when suddenly they noticed something huge. Linda Scarberry is on record for describing the creature, saying it was at least 7 feet tall, muscled, and dark. However, its eyes were big and glowed a bright red. She stated that nobody could make out the face of the creature due to the hypnotic nature of the glowing red eyes, basically saying that they were too bright to see anything else. She also said that the creature had giant wings. Obviously frightened, the gang sped away. But apparently, the creature actually flew after them, making loud screeching noises.
Scary.
It chased them all the way back to the Point Pleasant city limits. It's got to be a rush, right? Let's say this happening. How fucking wild would it be?
It would definitely be freaky, no doubt.
So a day later, on November 16th, 1966, the Point Pleasant Register helped bring the Mothman into the public eye with its news article. The piece was titled, "Couples See Man-Sized Bird, Creature, Something." After the article was published, tons of other townsfolk came forward, claiming they had seen something just like it. For example, some local firemen came forward and said they saw a massive bird with glowing red eyes. But although the being became the talk of the town, Sheriff George Johnson came forward and claimed that he knew what this creature was. And no, it wasn't a massive birdman. He said he had seen a massive heron flying around. You know, like a heron, like a bird?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
He actually named the heron Shitpoke to identify it. Some came forward claiming that it couldn't be a heron because the herons were in the middle of migrating and there would be none left since it was November. But George Johnson said that sometimes birds, especially herons, can be out of the migration cycle. A contractor named Newell Partridge came forward, telling the details of his sighting to Sheriff Johnson. He claimed that he had seen the creature and shined his flashlight on it. The eyes looked like, quote, bicycle reflectors. However, it flew away with its massive wings before he could get a better look at it. Partridge, who also said that when he would turn his television set off, the TV would still buzz as if it was still on. And this continued for a few days. Partridge's German Shepherd also disappeared, and he claimed that the creature had something to do with both events. Before things got too crazy in Point Pleasant, a wildlife biologist came forward and backed up Sheriff Johnson's original claims. Robert L. Smith of West Virginia University listened to everyone's sightings, their stories. He then made the conclusion that every single description of the creature matched that of the sandhill crane. This crane is almost as tall as a man, has a 7-foot wingspan, and has red coloring around its eyes. Although it is not native to the region, Smith said that the bird could have just flown out of its migration route and ended up there at the, and that is apparently not uncommon for that to happen, I guess. So, thoughts? Think it's just a big ass bird?
I think people are wild for thinking it's anything but some bird that they might have seen. Your dog might have ran away. That's a quite unfortunate.
Yeah.
That happens often.
Yeah.
Like, that explains it. Your TV static, get a new TV. Like, it's probably not working. I don't know. Those claims are kind of dumb to me. But
I think so too.
I mean, you know, in the moment when people are freaked out and seeing something flying at you, like I said before, things get exaggerated.
Yeah.
And maybe it was just a giant bird that the light hit its eyes in a certain way and caused it to be red. And you're like, oh shit, that's a red-eyed thing behind us. And you just like keep busting your ass forward to try and get away. Right.
Exactly.
And then you really don't realize what it truly is. And you just make up this BS claim.
Yeah.
So far. Right.
I mean, yeah,
like thinking that it could be something other than that.
It is
right?
interesting how a lot of other people though did come forward.
Yeah, but but also people said it wasn't. So like,
yeah, true.
Now the migration, I don't know the migration patterns of a herring, but you know, I don't know. I feel like birds can get out of that cycle for sure. Yeah,
I mean, I think it. Well, I don't actually know, but these guys do.
I'm assuming that they could. I don't actually know myself, but
these guys do, and they said that it could happen. Yeah. So, like,
and I might trust a wildlife expert. Yeah, you know,
more than me. Yeah, for sure.
exactly. Those are my thoughts. You know, I think it's a lot of brain making things up right now.
Mm-hmm. So right now it's just a Birdman.
Yeah. Birdman,
which is kind of crazy though. So how exactly did the creature get the name Mothman? Well, believe it or not, it's actually thanks to Batman. During the time, the Batman TV show with Adam West was hugely popular. Just ask my dad. Hi, Dad. But the show made the comics insanely popular, and in the comics, there was a villain named Killer Moth. While he didn't look like the creature that was described, the story in West Virginia soon went national. And when it did, multiple articles called the creature the Mothman. So it's pretty much believed that the Mothman came from Batman. Which is kind of funny, but also...
I mean, it's a cool way the legend was born.
True.
Doesn't make it real.
No, but Batman, though, kind of sick. We got a Batman villain flying around.
Yeah.
Gotham City, what's up? No, that's cool, man. So... my dad's a huge, every time, like, you know, Neighbors, and they're like, who's your Batman? My dad every time would say Adam West.
He's like, Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton's my Batman.
My dad, though, he's like, Adam West. Adam West is the Batman. So, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, everyone's got just depends on when you came in and started watching Batman, really.
Well, look,
like, there was the original Batmans, but everyone has their favorite Batman, right?
Well, it really just depends on, in my opinion, who you can relate to.
Yeah.
And
that makes sense.
So I think, the Christian Bale Batman is
People like Christian Bale.
Well, that's the one I grew up with, and I think they're phenomenal movies. Yeah. I really do. But I'm sorry, I gotta give it to fucking Rob Bat, bro. The Batman.
He does play a really good Batman. He does.
One of my favorite comic book movies of all time. And I'm a huge comic book fan. So I think they nailed that shit. I just love the dark, broody. Mm-hmm. Like, when you say Batman's dark, they were like, yeah, let's take the Batman being dark and turn it up to 11. Mm-hmm. Like, I love that shit. Gotham City felt so sick. I don't know. Anyway. So, yeah, thanks to Batman. That was cool. Here's where things get pretty flippin' wild. I'm actually serious. Like, this is pretty weird. So I'm sure you guys have probably heard about this. If not the Mothman, probably heard about this. You've probably seen this. There's a little clip, but the Silver Bridge. Have you heard about that? Okay. The Silver Bridge was an I-bar chain and suspension bridge. I personally have no idea what the fuck that means. I'm not a bridge guy. But regardless,
did you ever play those bridge building games?
Not one like to that extent, but regardless, it was a big bridge. It was built in 1928 and connected Point Pleasant in West Virginia to Gallipolis in Ohio.
So it would be like similar to like the Golden Gate Bridge and stuff like that, just probably suspended differently, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was the size of the Golden Gate Bridge.
No, but I mean, it's a big bridge connecting places.
Yes. Yeah, it's like going over a lake or whatever.
Yeah.
Here it is. The bridge went over the Ohio River. I said it went over a lake. It's the Ohio River, and was known locally as Silver Bridge due to its appearance. However, the actual official title was the Point Pleasant Bridge. Oh, God. So you might be asking, Cal, why exactly did we shift the conversation to bridges?
I was wondering that, for sure.
I'm here to find out about the Mothman. And I would say you're right. However, I am officially announcing that the Supernaturals will become the Super Bridge guys. No, I'm absolutely kidding. That was just a stupid joke I wrote in here. So the real reason we're talking about the bridge is actually kind of sad. So we will laugh and now we will cry.
He hit us with all the emotions.
It has been a year since the first sighting of the Mothman. People were talking about their supposed sightings, signs and flyers were put up, and the whole community was freaking out. The day was December 15th, 1967, and there was a massive rush hour traffic jam along the Silver Bridge. People just making their commute and stuff, Well, believe it or not, the entire bridge actually collapsed with all of those people on it. The collapse of the Silver Bridge resulted in 46 casualties, and some people were never found.
Dang.
Yeah. So after an investigation of why the bridge failed, they discovered that the fault of the disaster was due to a single I-bar inside a suspension chain. In fact, it was an interior flaw that was only 0.1 inches deep. That 0.1 inch caused the destruction of a massive bridge and unfortunately led a lot of people to their deaths. You may be wondering how the hell that could have happened.
I'm also wondering how the hell it relates to the Mothman.
We'll get there. So there isn't an explanation about how it could have happened, but there is one silver lining. The collapse of the Silver Bridge helped change the way that we build, inspect, and maintain bridges.
Well, I'd say that's a positive. And, you know, it really sucks that tragedy has to happen to people, but positive things come after.
You are correct.
Right.
Yeah. It is unfortunate, but it does
help make safer bridges
make
now,
society
right?
a safer place.
Yeah.
So as for the Mothman, Jake, well, the locals were now saying that the Mothman was responsible for the collapse of the bridge.
They were. They're like, it's gotta be the Mothman.
Some were saying that he did it out of anger for the fact that he was discovered. But the more popular theory among people was that catching a glimpse of the Mothman was a bad omen. It meant that seeing him with your own eyes would cause him either to harm you or to others. And eventually that became pretty mass hysteria.
Interesting. You know, I could believe that if it happened recently after people saw him.
Yeah.
But because it was a year later, that's
So
a
they're
little
saying
like
because-
that's a little iffy.
They're saying because the popularity grew, like in town, there were like paintings and all this stuff. So it was like he kind of became
He was idolized, basically.
And he's like, fuck, I'm going to just destroy a bridge. Now, I think that's fucking stupid. But I also think like, you know, I think the omen thing is definitely the more popular. Like it makes more sense.
It does make sense, but it's just like that time gap is a little weird.
There's another reason why I believe that story, and we'll get into that in a second. So lock in. So actually, after the bridge, national sightings began to flood in from California to Chicago and even down south in Louisiana.
So reading the paper, you're just like, oh shit, that guy saw it. Like a day later, you're like, oh shit, I saw the Mothman too.
So, believe it or not, actually, Mothman sightings are still happening today.
Interesting. See, that was a question I was probably going to bring up a little later, but I was curious if they were still going on, an ongoing thing.
So there are even reports about a series of Mothman sightings in Russia before the 1999 Russian apartment bombings.
Okay, that's not today.
No, but I'm saying like that's a big deal. Like it was right before like this crazy event. Yeah. So it's the omen thing again. And not only that, there was another small wave of Mothman sightings right before Chernobyl.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So a couple Russian little articles in there and stuff that I was able to look at, and people were like, oh yeah, there's the Mothman.
Where was the first sighting again of the Mothman?
Oh, Point Pleasant in West Virginia.
So it went all the way to Russia?
Yeah. That's why I said it grew. Like the sightings just exploded. And the fact that he's being seen before these crazy events.
That's pretty weird. I can't deny that. That's pretty weird.
So you've seen like 3 days before the reactor thing in Chernobyl.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
See, now that time gap makes sense where a bad omen happens.
I'm just saying,
makes sense.
It is still pretty interesting that's.
Yeah, I mean.
Right.
Who knows if it's true or not, but it is kind of a crazy thing to think about,
it's weird.
You know?
Yeah. So the Mothman himself wasn't like, they're not like, oh, the Mothman, but it was described as like a dude who's in like all black with red glowing eyes and big ass wings. So,
you know, I could see now being a little bit of a skeptic on this side here.
Yeah.
I could see people going and, you know, Chernobyl happens and people go, yeah, I saw the Mothman before it happened.
Yeah.
And then people are like, oh my God, it was a sign. Like after the fact, right?
I see that. But I also think like one of the other theories that I saw too, that I actually thought was kind of fascinating was they said that what if seeing the Mothman was like a way to show you like it was, you know how people say like they feel a sense. I mean, we've had this on the pod a few episodes this season, but some of the victims say that they feel a sense of dread before they eventually.
It's like a warning sign, basically. Yeah.
Basically saying the Mothman is that.
Yeah.
So it'd be like a figment of your imagination.
But it's something visual that's warning you that something bad is coming.
So there's another part of that theory where it's like we're cosmic beings, right? Maybe the Mothman is death, but it's like the cosmic version of death. So
you know,
it's a physical form.
I can believe some of that because the brain is powerful. It can do some crazy things that, you know, like even think about drugs. Drugs can unlock different parts of your brain. You know, you take medicine, all of a sudden your body starts to feel better, right? You take, I don't know, mushrooms, psychedelics, right? It does things to your brain and you start seeing things like that. There's so much possible things that could go on with the brain and its activity and what it sees.
So, I mean, I don't know,
especially when you die, like you got the DMT that releases the chemical into your brain. So you're just like, have a pleasant death, right?
Yeah.
It's like the easy way of your body letting you die.
Yeah.
So it's all possible. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So I can see that being something along those lines. I can.
Okay.
Now,
All
do
right.
I truly believe that's exactly what it is? No, but I can see that side.
At least you can see something, because I'd be kind of upset if you were like, this whole thing just sounds like bullshit. I can't even come up with some kind of theory. I can't even, because I actually,
I mean, some of
don't
it sounds
believe-
like bullshit, no doubt. But like some of these things are like maybe.
There's also more to it. So.
Okay, well.
But I'm just saying, like, you know what? We'll say this when we wrap it up. So I always jump ahead of myself. I swear to God. So the legend grows. The Mothman has become a massive staple in the genre that is mythical creatures. Apparently, people have reported feeling nauseous or, like we just said, a sense of dread before seeing the creature. It is said that the Mothman is curious when it comes to humans, often chasing them in cars at high speeds or watching them from a distance. However, the creature doesn't like to be seen while he stalks humans, which, in my opinion, is a bit hypocritical, but... Either way, the actual belief in the creature isn't mutually agreed upon. Most people believe it's all mass hysteria, which, given the size of the originating town of Point Pleasant, I would say that, that's not a bad suggestion. Thinking that there is a giant humanoid moth out there, though, is kind of a spooky thought. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Couple things here. If you want to celebrate the Mothman, that's right, I said celebrate, then you should know that in September, every year, Point Pleasant puts on a festival celebrating their little town myth. It's actually pretty cool.
Probably put them on the map.
Yeah.
They're like, you see that town? That's where the Mothman's from.
So the festival is full of family-friendly events and decorations, including a parade. The festival brings in thousands of visitors who are curious about the Mothman legend.
Thousands of dollars, you mean?
Exactly. So if that's something that you think you'd be into, be sure to check it out.
I mean, that's why the legend of Loch Ness brought so much in, right? It brings in tourists. It attracts people to spend money in your town.
Exactly.
So
Well,
like it is a beneficial thing.
again, we should have probably picked Point Pleasant over Roswell because fucking Roswell sucked. Point Pleasant sounds like they have it going on, dude. Parades and shit. Why doesn't Roswell people, why don't you have a damn parade or something about aliens? Why does your town look like it's dying? I mean that because I want it to work. Like I would love for there to be like an alien.
Worked back in the day.
Probably. What the hell happened?
People got older.
I guess, man.
No one
These are old people.
No one
and they're
moves to
doing it?
Roswell, right?
That's true. Yeah, I guess I'd probably rather go to West Virginia than fucking New Mexico. But that's just me though, personally.
Yeah.
So nothing against New Mexico fans. We thank you and love you. And I'm sorry. I just like more mountain forests kind of stuff, not really like barren deserts, just my taste. So, well, personally, I believe the Mothman is not real. Yes, I said it. And it's just a town legend. Yeah, I know, right? I don't. So it's just a town legend, which was amplified due to the Silver Bridge tragedy. That's my personal belief. I do want to end this episode by looking at some of the sightings of the Mothman.
Okay.
Sightings.
I bet you could guess what my conclusion is so far.
I actually am curious to see what happens after these sightings, but we'll see. Our first sighting occurred in 1978 in Freiburg, Germany. Hello, Germans. Do we have any German fans?
I don't think so.
We'll get you guys.
That would be kind of sweet though.
That would be cool.
We go to Oktoberfest.
Oh, dude, imagine.
Oh.
Anyway, so put yourself in that headspace. You're in Germany.
Yeah. I just played Hell Let Loose as the German squad.
It was a brisk and early September morning, and a group of miners were getting ready to head to their stations. The night sky still covered the land like a blanket of black sprinkled with flickering stars.
Reading a book?
Well, I wrote this like a book, yeah. Yeah. The men laughed and enjoyed the walk until they reached their mine entrance. And there, standing before them, was an inhumanly tall man standing there, wearing a trench coat. The miners stopped cold and asked the man what he was doing. That's when the man opened his eyes, showcasing glowing red orbs of light.
The plague doctor or what?
The miners gasped and took a step back. They looked closer and noticed that the trench coat wasn't a coat at all. They were actually giant wings. The being flared its massive wings and screeched, sending the miners running back to their homes. But not even an hour later, the miners all heard a booming rumble in the direction of the mine. Given the sun had finally risen, the men went back to the mine, only to find now that it had collapsed. The miners realized that if the being had not been there to scare them off, they would have all been trapped inside that mine and might not have ever returned. Was this the Mothman scaring these miners away to save them, or was this the work of a person who wanted to see the mine closed down without having to harm anyone? You decide. Also, that last little thing there, that was my personal theory. I think it's somebody who probably didn't want the mine to be like there anymore for some reason. They probably hated like having mine people, and they just said, let me dress up in some like creepy shit.
Scare
and
people
just,
away.
Like, yeah, and just like blow it up. And I just don't want to like kill anybody while I'm doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that.
Personally, that's what I think. So. Thoughts? Any more thoughts on that one?
Not really. I mean, that theory that you have is quite good, actually.
Yeah, that was my theory.
I mean, what they saw, who knows?
Yeah, I mean,
right?
You're just on your way to work and you see something like that. I mean, yeah, it'd freak you out, and you.
I'm telling you, in a panic, when you're scared and terrified,
yeah,
your mind can make things up, and you'd be like, were that wings? Was that wings?
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden, your mind,
oh my God, it looked like wings.
Your mind thinks that it's wings.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. All right, so the next story is a bit strange. Apparently, in the days leading up to 9/11, New Yorkers reported sightings of a black-winged creature flying near the World Trade Center.
That's interesting. You know, I actually was going to bring that up when we were talking about it being a bad omen. I was like, what if it was around during 9/11?
Yeah.
Well, here we are.
So there is one eyewitness who actually even said that they noticed the creature flying parallel to one of the planes. Not sure what this is all about, but apparently those who came forward to speak about the Mothman in New York were soon approached by men in black suits who informed those people to stop talking about it.
Interesting.
That is interesting. That one, woo, got the goosebumps on that one.
Someone's trying to keep it secret.
Isn't that crazy? So the Mothman's just like a fucking like, he's SEAL Team 6. Like he's just like so sick.
Honestly, like as soon as we air this episode, all of a sudden we're just like,
all
of a sudden we just take it down and people are like, where did it go?
Yeah, oh shit. That would be crazy. The next story is one I mentioned earlier. Remember Chernobyl? Well, apparently the workers of the facility had seen a giant black birdman flying above the reactor. Those who saw the creature were struck with nightmares in the following days. Apparently, even people at the nearby town of Pripyat saw the bird flying above the reactor. The birdman with glowing red eyes eventually became known as the Black Bird of Chernobyl. Actually got a name for how much like attention it got. And before too much attention could be focused on the Mothman in Russia, the infamous disaster occurred in the reactor.
It's all that radiation just fucking with your head.
Or maybe the radiation caused this thing. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
True. I don't know. There's some weird like black fungus that they just found in Chernobyl. It's like super toxic or something. I just read that. Yeah. So what do you think? Is it weird how all over the world there are sightings of this massive bird with glowing red eyes? And he always seems to be around right before a disaster. So is it truly just a bad omen? Or is it just an imaginary being that we see when we sense disaster? You be the judge.
It is interesting. It's
a
cool little legend story, whatever you want to call it. You know,
yes, this was actually supposed to be a season 3,
but you know, I don't know what it could be. I mean, it is interesting that similar instances are happening all over the world, but
yeah.
I could just see it as people think they see what it is, and a disaster hits, and then you have that commonality with other people that might see the same thing or think they see the same thing.
I think
it's like the Mandela effect, right?
You're right there.
Right. Because people think that they saw all this stuff back in the day, right? Mm-hmm. And like the monocle on was it the peanut guy or not or the Monopoly guy?
Yeah.
He never had a monocle or whatever. There's a bunch of them. It could be like that, where people think that they've seen and remember something so clearly with a mass amount of people, but it truly wasn't that at all. Mm-hmm. Now, the Mandela effect is just a crazy thing in general, but, you know, it could be something similar.
It is, but I think, like, I wouldn't be surprised if there was something. I'm not
Maybe,
saying it's
I don't know.
Mothman or whatever, but the fact that it's been seen all over these places, I'm going to go ahead and say that my theory, the one that I'm picking, is the one that it's something that our brain just envisions before we sense it. Because my personal belief is that we are cosmic beings. We're tied into this kind of like
Sure.
cosmic way of things, I guess.
Yeah.
Like our soul is going to go somewhere when we die. Like I believe in that kind of thing. Hopefully mine goes to Tatooine. But
Yeah, I don't know.
the point is though, I could see us, like our mind projecting an image of something that doesn't look very friendly
Right.
moments before some kind of disaster happens.
And just a select few of people get to see it.
I don't know. I mean, the ones who unfortunately died, I mean, we don't know what they saw.
Right.
They could have seen it.
Yeah.
You know, who knows? So I
But
don't
the
know,
ones
man.
that didn't, they claim to have seen it. Right. So
So who knows?
Who knows?
But regardless, yeah, it's pretty interesting to think about.
It is an interesting story.
So anyway,
Well, cool.
that's it for us. Unless you got anything more to add.
No,
It's pretty.
I mean, it doesn't
liked
change my thought on it, but you know, it is quite.
So you're still
fascinating.
saying mass hysteria?
Yeah, I don't believe it, but
You couldn't believe in anything? Like not even like your mind? You went on that whole rant about how like drugs change your mind and stuff. Like
I mean,
your brain
I can see how it could be like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I believe it? It is that? No, but I could see how it could be.
Interesting.
Shit, maybe I'll see the Mothman.
Maybe you will.
Who knows? But I don't know. The mind can do some crazy things, so it is possible. But I don't know.
All right. Well, cool. Let us know what your thoughts are. Do you think there's a Mothman out there running around, or do you think that it's just a figment of your imagination, or do you think it's what Jake said, mass hysteria, which in my opinion is not a lot of fun? I'd rather have the other one.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, cool.
Yeah.
Anything more?
No,
Wanna add?
that was a pretty solid episode.
Cool. All right, guys.
Oh yeah.
Well, we will see you back here next week for another episode of The Supernaturals. And we hope that you enjoyed this one. And we also hope, trying to find the button, so I'm trying to stall. We hope that we see you around the graveyard.
And you can find our podcast everywhere.
Thanks for listening to this chilling episode of The Supernaturals. For your protection, make sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. And stay tuned for the next episode.